the bed.
There are more important things than money.
You really can't imagine doing something for nothing.
You are the future. I'm gonna make my mark.
Hi guys, I'm back and I've got a surprise for you. I'm sitting here with a lady who needs no introduction. She's another of the stars from the exciting new South African film Nothing for Mahala. It is of course Mmabatho Montsho. Now you'll probably recognize her from Generations, from Rhythm City and from Jacob's Cross, among other things. She's got an amazing repertoire, this woman. So I'm really thrilled to have her here. Hi Mmabatho, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
My first question to you is, I want to know a little bit about the character that you play in Nothing for Mahala.
The character that I play in Nothing for Mahala is Renielwe. She's the manager of Autumn Hills Retirement Home, which is where Thapelo Mokoena's character comes to serve his community service. She's your typical do-gooder. For her, values are far more important than any kind of money that you can make. She wants to make a difference in the world, and that is why she's chosen a life of giving as opposed to a life of riches, so to speak.
That's fantastic. And did you find it quite a challenging role to play, or could you identify with the character quite a lot?
There were a lot of things that I found challenging. For one, it was both exciting and challenging to work in an old age home. Because of the different relationships, I imagined she would have with the older people living there. Although I was close to my grandparents, I didn't see them as much as I would have liked to. So it was also a bit emotional being around all these people and thinking, oh, I wish my grandmother was here. So just building the different relationships that I think the character would have in the story required a bit of work for me. And also, I think it's very noble, the choices that she has made in her life, but the character has always been privileged. So for her, it was an easy choice to make. But if you haven't always been privileged, it's not so easy to say, oh, forget money, I just want to give, because there are certain things that you're not able to do when you don't have money. So to appreciate what it means to have money versus to have always been privileged and you've always got something to fall back on in terms of she's got a rich family, she's got rich opportunities. So for me, trying to find her headspace was a bit of a challenge, yeah.
Do you feel that she could be a good role model for South African women?
Absolutely. I think she is a great role model. I think she's an absolute great role model in the sense that she's made a decision about what her life stands for, and she's gone for that decision despite what her family and her friends may think about her decision.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was watching the film, I really enjoyed your portrayal of this strong female character who's willing to stand up for herself and for the people she cares about. So I'm thrilled about this character, actually. But now I want to know, how did you come to get cast in this film? What was that process like?
Okay, the process, I got a call from Quizzical Pictures to tell me about Nothing for Mahala and would I be interested in auditioning for the role. And it was a point in my life where I was focusing on directing, because I'm a director too. And I had been trying to break into directing for so long, and every time I'd knock on a door, they'd be like, don't you want a role instead? And it'd be like, no, I want to direct instead. But when I saw the script, I was like, okay, why not? Actually, let's give it a shot. So I went, I did my 2 auditions like everyone else, waited for the outcome, and I think about a few weeks later, I was told, okay, you've done it, you've got the role. But also knowing who was involved really made me wanna be part of the project.
So how was it working with all the other stars in the show? Yeah. There was Jamie Bartlett, yes, Marius Veyes, and yes, Thapelo Mokoena. How was it working with all of them?
It was fantastic. I've worked with all of them except for Marius Veyes before, but it was the first time I was working very closely with Thapelo, and that was fantastic. I mean, he's inspiring to watch when he works. He's got performance stamina, he's dedicated, and he has not an ounce of self-consciousness whatsoever. So he was brilliant. I loved watching him work. It was fantastic working with Kholiniki with directing. Once again, I worked with him on Rhythm City and another show called A Place Called Home. So to do a movie with him now was awesome. I've worked with Jamie also before, but although in this movie our characters don't meet that much. But I think it was a great cast, great crew. All in all, a fantastic team, and everyone brought out the best in each other. Yeah.
Awesome, and you can really see that in the final product, I must say.
I'm glad, thank you.
So my next question was actually to ask you, where are you going to from here now that Nothing for Mahala's done?
Yes.
And you mentioned you are a director.
Yes.
Are you interested in directing more, or acting more, or?
I'm absolutely interested in directing more. I do have a full-time job now as a director, which is fantastic because I had to work hard to walk into a studio and let people see me as a director. And once the opportunity came, I was very happy with the results of my work. The work spoke for itself.
So if you had one piece of advice that you'd like to give to young aspiring actors, young aspiring filmmakers, especially, you know, women who are trying to get into this industry, what
Yes.
would that piece of advice be?
You know, I appreciated and I respected a lot that people talk about branding, but if we just go a little bit deeper and you focus more on your principles, if you know what your principles are and you know what you are trying to achieve, things like how do you brand yourself, what sort of show do you go for, who do you work with, what are you willing to do to get a job, will be so easy. Those choices will be so easy to make if you know what you're about. And to know what you're about, you have to know what your principles are, your foundation. Then you'll know, I'm going for that job, I'm going to go for it like this. I'll get a side job so that I can pick my acting roles to fit what my vision is. And stick to your vision, have one. Have a vision, stick to it, and work hard. It's not easy. And I think the most important thing that we never get told is how scary it is. People think because they see you and you're confident that there's no fear, but there is fear. You're going to be afraid, go ahead anyway, and you'll be fine.
That's great advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then lastly, just to end off, why should South African audiences go see Nothing for Mahala?
South African audiences should watch Nothing for Mahala because it's a fresh film. It's something South Africa hasn't seen before. It's got a great cast. It's well made. It had a fantastic crew. It's funny. It's got a nice story. And most importantly, it speaks about values. How we make our money, what we do with our money, but you won't feel like you're in a PSA ad. You'll just enjoy it. That's the number one reason. You will enjoy it.
Thank you so much for being here on the show with us, Mmabatho. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And what you've shared today, I'm sure will be very inspiring for a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me and all the best to the event.
Thank you.